I was going to ask you what do you feel like the biggest problems facing Modesto is, but would you say that's probably the economic stuff, or?
Well, that's definitely, in terms of our ability to meet the expectations of the community, what's going to cause us the biggest obstacle is the economy. I'm facing the prospect of losing more sworn and civilian positions, but the work's not going to go away. There will still be drug use in our community. There will still be property crimes in our community. There will still be gangs in our community. And so while the economy has caused us to look at a different way of doing business, and it's impacted our ability to meet some of those demands, they don't go away. There will still be drug use in our community. There will still be people who sell drugs. There will still be gangs in our community. And I'm a firm believer that the community doesn't want excuses from their police department. They want us to deliver. And I'm not into making excuses. But what we need to know, what we need to do is we need to grow and strengthen our partnerships between the police department and the community through crime prevention measures, neighborhood watch opportunities, those kinds of things. We can't be everywhere. The residents in their own neighborhoods cannot expect a safe neighborhood without their involvement, and we can't expect a safe city without their involvement. And so it's a two-way street. We need neighborhoods to partner with us, to give us information, to be watchful over their own respective neighborhoods, report suspicious activity, allow us an opportunity to go and investigate that suspicious activity, whatever it may be. But I see this as an opportunity, this economy, to grow, strengthen our partnerships with the community as an opportunity for us to find a new way of doing business. It's not just the police department, it's not just the community and the citizens, it's us working collaboratively to solve some of these problems. And it's absolutely critical in this economy, I think, that we grow and strengthen those partnerships like no other point in time.
And what would you say would be the biggest strength of Modesto that you've seen throughout your life and throughout your career? What do you think this town should be proud of right now?
Well, there's a lot of people who it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. They read or hear about a story in the paper, some of our more prominent cases that we've experienced over the years, and it's not what identifies Modesto. And some people want to hold on to that identity, that's what identifies Modesto. And you know what I'm talking about, some of the more high-profile cases. That's what Modesto's all about. And I know Modesto, after living here for 40 years, it's so much more than that. It is not about a single high-profile case. This is a community that's made up of tremendous, tremendous people, hardworking people who want to do what's best for their community. And this police department's made up of people who are very dedicated, very professional, who want to do what's best for our community. And so, those high-profile cases, being number one in auto theft per capita across the nation, is not what defines Modesto. What makes Modesto so unique is it's got a small town feel for a very large city, the 15th largest city in the state of California, but it's got a small town feel. You still know people, you still recognize people, you still talk to people at the grocery store. It's charming. It's got issues, of course, like every community in California does. But I think what's most important is don't let the bad news become what defines Modesto. Don't let it become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Let's highlight the good things that happen in Modesto, and there's tremendous things in Modesto. From being number one in our National Night Out activities, every August we put on a National Night Out party, and the National Town Watch Association has awarded us either first or second place in either the nationwide competition of comparable size cities, or in the state of California. Those are the things that make Modesto, tremendous. The climate, the weather, the central location to mountains and to the ocean and to big cities and so on and so forth. The small town feel, that's what defines Modesto, not crime and disorder. What defines Modesto is a community coming together to solve those problems. And so I love the city. I adore this police department. I've lived here in my entire life, and Modesto is a great place to live, and I refuse to listen to the skeptics who say that it's not.
And where do you see Modesto in, let's say, 10 years? Where do you see us?
I see Modesto obviously as a potentially a larger city, although there's not a lot of building that's going on now because of the economy, but that's going to turn around. We know the economy is going to turn around. It always does. And I think once the economy turns around, then I think we'll start to see residential development and commercial development, and I think you'll start to naturally see Modesto grow. So I do see it as a larger city than I see it now, but I also see it becoming more diverse. I see it become more cosmopolitan, more metropolitan, more professional, if you will. One of the biggest issues facing Modesto, like every other community, is we have a dropout crisis in California. over 200,000 juveniles are arrested per year in California. And we know that the research has shown that dropouts in high school are 3.5 times more likely to be arrested, and about 68% of all prison inmates across this great country do not have a high school diploma. We have to keep kids in school. I know the best crime prevention tool. I'm asked all the time, from our neighborhood watch programs and our national night out programs and our, steering wheel locks and those kinds of things. The best crime prevention tool, the absolute best crime prevention tool, is keeping kids in school. You get an education. You'll earn an honest day's living for an honest day's work, and it will lead to employment opportunities. It will lead to somebody who does not involve themselves in a life of crime. Our best crime prevention tool is keeping kids in school. So I see Modesto being a more metropolitan city, more diversity, but I also see us becoming more metropolitan in the sense that it's already a draw for the urban area as the commercial establishments and the medical profession, those kinds of things. I see it even becoming even stronger in that regard. So it'll become a destination for the surrounding Central Valley. You can go to Modesto to seek quality medical care, go to Modesto to seek quality commercial opportunities, and go to Modesto to seek quality educational opportunities. And so that's how I see Modesto, and I think the outlook's very, very bright.
All right. Now let's say somebody wants to get involved. Let's say somebody's from any age, from a teenager to a baby boomer. Let's say they want to volunteer or maybe start a neighborhood watch program or something. What kind of programs for volunteerism does the police department have?
If somebody wants to start a neighborhood watch program in their community, all they have to do is contact the police department. We'll make sure we get them connected to one of our crime prevention specialists. And that's exactly what we need to have happen. We need people to get involved and be a champion for their neighborhood, to be the eyes and the ears for us, to call when they see suspicious activity. So anybody who hears this or sees this interview who wants to get involved in a crime prevention program or a neighborhood watch program, all they have to do is call. Likewise, if somebody wants to give back to their community and be a volunteer, assist us in the delivery of subpoenas, patrolling neighborhoods, working parades and festivals, and doing some of the collateral work that's necessary here at the police department that we can use as an opportunity to redeploy our resources, our paid resources, our full-time resources a little better. They're urged to contact the police department. We have a very aggressive volunteer program of all ages, and whether you can work 1 day a month or work 15 days a month, we'll gladly take you and put you to work. It requires a background investigation because quite naturally people are going to be exposed to some sensitive material. But if you can pass a background investigation and you can come to work for us, we'll take you. And so anybody who's interested in wanting to be a volunteer, all they have to do is contact the police department. We'll get them in contact with our volunteer coordinators, and we'll get them processed. I have an absolute desire to want to grow our volunteer program. That is part of my desire to want to grow those partnerships that are so critical, and for us to deploy our resources more effectively, and to take advantage of a volunteer cadre that can do some of the stuff that's traditionally been done by full-time personnel. If I can bring in a volunteer who's willing to go out in the community and patrol a neighborhood for us, or serve subpoenas, while I can then use a full-time personnel in some other area, then we're all for it. So anybody who's interested in a volunteer program, call us. We'd be happy to bring you on board.